Welcome and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. This is going to be our weekly update, right? We're going to get you those updated weekly expected moves. We already gave out the monthly expected moves yesterday. If you want to go check out that video or see the yellow lines on your screen right now, you can get those on there for you. We did give them away in yesterday's macro update for the SPY, for the Qs, for IWM. I would go check that out. It's good to kind of get the brain going and kind of set some sort of plan that is willing to change throughout the month, but you can read into these monthly expected moves very well. But for today, we need to get into those shorter time frames, right? The shorter time frames are going to be very, very beneficial to us here because we've seen 2 months where we haven't tagged a monthly expected move. I think that we are getting closer and closer and closer to some sort of breakout. So we're going to do some technical analysis here. We're going to look at price action and things like that, but we're going to make sure to get you guys those weekly and daily expected moves. I do have to do this in one shot. I got to hurry up and go help with baby girl. So what I really wanted to go over here, and I'll put this on there so you guys can see which chart we're on, right? Let's get those weekly expected moves to you first before I talk about them. 699.82 to the upside, 672.16 to the downside. Once again, if we're going to see some kind of crash, some kind of squeeze, we will post the second standard deviation to Patreon if we do see a crazy break in some way. Your daily expected moves, 690.67, 681.31. If you've been here for a long time, you know what these moves are, but overall, if you're new, 68% zones, right? 68% zone for the day, 68% zone for the week. So 32% of the time you will land outside of them by the end of the week. So we have to consider that going into this that soon, as we have been in this consolidative phase and we've been in that weekly expected move, closing inside it, closing inside it, closing inside it, closing inside it. We really want to start to pay attention, I think, coming into March. Really want to pay attention here because we actually can see a time where we get a move that lands and actually closes outside of the weekly expected move. That happens 32% of the time. Very nice. This is used. I use the options data to calculate these. So these are the fresh calculations here. I would get them on your charts. They are some of the best support and resistance, and I would argue the best support and resistance that you will ever see in any kind of analysis. Very, very nice piece of data here. Very simple too. So what's the key thing we can read into with the 2-hour chart, right? We went over the daily chart yesterday, weekly chart yesterday for the SPY Qs, IWM. We did a macro video over a week ago that was discussing what the dollar is overall saying and are we at risk of some kind of crash using volatility. We went over a lot in the macro, but doing our homework on the 2-hour chart is very important because it'll tell us when we are probable to break the highs. Well, one thing that we notice here is you have this low. You do notice that when we made that rejection low that I was very critical of, and you heard me go, I really like it to be on the MACD, we actually were able to carve out that higher low later on the 2-hour MACD right here with a couple of cross downs, and we're able to exceed that previous high. Now, you really want to take out these levels. Obviously, you would like to take out these levels, come back and retest and head to the upside. That's what we talked about yesterday. But for the chart right now, what are we overall noticing? Oh, my battery's low. We got to do this quick. The 2-hour MACD made a move into positive territory. Yes, it is in a risky spot. We talked about the risk of being bullish while this is curled down, as there's not a lot of room to the center line. But if that's able to confirm back into positive territory, that would be saying that we can test this high, go make a new one. That's where you would look for the weekly expected move. So if the 2-hour chart is able to confirm here, pretty simply, you could say, hey, by the end of the week, we could head all the way up to 699.82. And it's very, very good there because just like the monthly expected moves, 75% of the time you will tag the weekly expected moves as well. But that hasn't curled up yet. That's something to kind of react to. So can we look at anything on the 30-minute chart that can really help us out? And as we see this, we see that we were able to go pretty negative here, not extremely negative where we had to make divergences like back in here, right? When everyone's calling crash over here and we're like, hey, there's divergence. If that confirms, you're going to take out this high, potentially go make a new one. And we do. We just didn't get the extension we needed in this area. So it's very, very choppy right now. I understand if you are frustrated. These consolidative times tend to be very frustrating for almost all traders, really, because all traders are going to argue back and forth the entire time. But something that we can do here to see if that 2-hour chart's going to curl up and head to that weekly expected move is what we can do is look for any kind of divergence, right? Look for any kind of divergence in this area. I would preferably see that divergence before we break the low because then price action would still be on your side. As of right now, you made the new low. But then you actually exceeded this, made a new high. So you are looking for technically a higher low still, according to trend. So very, very interesting. But as we were going negative, we need to see something here. And I think this would be very, very important. If we're able to exceed this level, able to come up to this area and carve out that higher low, maybe just taking back the 5-day, seeing some kind of move that does curl back down to grab some buyers to head to that weekly expected move, that can be very, very easy. But right now, I think you're still in this area. You would like to see a higher low, in my highest opinion, but I would still be on the watch for any kind of divergence, double bottom, anything like that. The key thing here is, when does this become risky? Right? When it becomes risky is right now, you try to confirm up at the end of the day on Friday. If that rolls in any fashion, like it's going to break that low, where are you going to start to point to? You're going to start to point to the lower move. So if the 30-minute is able to just reverse here and never curl up, right? Never curl up in this area, but takes out that low, takes out the low. We don't see divergence or a higher low at that point, and we roll right here. Maybe we're able to, and you see that roll over here. You're very likely to go to the weekly expected move downside. So we can kind of do this in both ways, even though a lot of people are just bearish, bearish, bearish in the market. We still talk about both sides, because the 2-hour chart, all it has to do is confirm up here to get to that weekly expected move. And would getting to a weekly expected move up or down cause you to kind of set those alarm bells off? Well, yes, it would. And I think that's where you would get some direction. So this week might be a good week to get some direction. If you break to the upside, right, you break through all of this, well, then you're looking for potential retests that then head to the monthly expected move. It would tell you that we are more potential, higher probability to continue to the upside in March. But if we end up breaking these lows, these critical lows right here, we break to the downside, maybe to that weekly expected move, and then we get that bounce that rolls, then over here we would be saying, we're going to continue to the downside in March. So I think this week will be very, very good, if not the week after that. We are getting very, very tight on Bollinger Bands and things like that. So we are going through a period of time where we are kind of contracting together, kind of getting very, very tight. And there's a time where we're going to loosen up, where we're going to expand. And that's where big squeezes can happen. That's where big crashes can happen. So I think still, even though you know that I've been saying I think that this consolidation will resolve itself to the upside, and I've given my argument for that over the past few weeks, over the past month or so, as we've just been playing around in this range for 2 months. I still pay attention to the opposite move as well, because I'm a trader. I'm someone who does not like to, I like to take money off of the table when a risky signal does show. So as of right now, I'm still waiting for that 2-hour chart to confirm to the upside. If that were to happen, I can look for potentially even 715 by the end of the month, but by the end of the week, it would look at 699.82, that blessed little 700 level that everyone's been talking about. Let's get over to the Qs real quick, get you guys those critical levels. And I'm talking really fast. You can probably hear me breathe, and I hate that. 622.84 to the upside, 591.74 to the downside. Daily expected moves here, 612.19, and we have 602.39. Once again, 68% zones. Qs haven't been landing in their zones exactly. Qs made a move towards monthly expected moves and things like that during this time. It's been a lot more volatile. You notice we've given that up, and we continue to roll. We really haven't made new highs, so it's in a risky spot. But in the near term, you have tried to say, yeah, we're getting these weak higher lows, and if we're able to make a higher low here that's actually able to do something meaningful, I think that would be a big deal. But what do you take into consideration? Not just price action, but technicals. If the 2-hour chart's able to curl up here, test the high, go make a new one, and now you have that point of 622.84. If you get a surprise, we'll give that second standard deviation out on Patreon, because that's a 95% level. This is a 68% zone. But if you see something crazy and you head up to here and everyone gets bullish up in here, your 95% zone would say, yeah, we're very likely to pull back into this area. So wanted to put that out there because we're going to talk about it. If we're not able to curl up here, though, we head to that downside, it would suggest the weekly expected move suggesting we could break the lows. If you do break the lows, once again, people will get very, very, very bearish, even if you make that second standard deviation move all the way down into these areas, and you're very likely to bounce back up. And then you would look for the roll. This would be the area where you start to look for the downward monthly expected move. So we're still watching this very carefully, but all that has to happen here is the 2 hours positive. It made a positive move. It took out the previous high in near term, not necessarily the best levels. But if that's able to curl up, you would test this high, go make a new one, and you have a weekly expected move for that. How likely are you to see that. Well, the MACD here, not necessarily too bad, actually, really not bad, but just some strong sellers that came in right in here, causing this to go negative. So going negative here is a big deal. You are getting a confirmation at the end of Friday suggesting what can happen. Well, it's suggesting, yeah, we can test this high and go make a new one, but you have to be aware of any kind of roll in this area. Maybe we make a divergence, but the big thing here is I don't want to break that previous low. Once you start to break that previous low, you're going to start to see some shapes here that lead to going to the weekly expected move. Say on Monday, you break down, maybe you get a kind of crash move because a lot of people are talking about war, like World War III and things like that. But if you actually do that, you're very likely to bounce to grab some kind of liquidity, and you kind of see the shape that would really shape up before you get to that weekly expected move. We'll see what happens with it. But as of right now, that would be something to pay attention to. The 30-minute confirmed up here, you would still look for that lower high. So we'll have to see if the bulls can really step up and really dictate, like, yes, this is the 30-minute high or low, this is a 30-minute low, this is the new high, and we're looking to carve out that higher low. So we need to see most likely a nice move here from the Qs early on in the week, or else you're at risk of breaking this low, and the bearish things start to make a little bit more sense as we head down to the weekly expected move. There is one thing with the Qs I didn't mention here. Quick daily divergences and things like that. If you see a flash move down to here and you see that confirm up into positive territory, if we spend the week kind of going down, but you just see something like this early on, we will be mentioning it on this channel. But that's just a blip I wanted to put out there. Let's go over into IWM, because IWM on the daily scale, look at that. No divergence, no lower high, just a solid positive move. Price action on your side, consolidation taking place. I'm sure some people are marking things off like this, and going, okay, if we break this in some way, then we're going to see some kind of move to the downside or upside, right? That pennant there. So we will watch it very critically and things like that. But I like to do my homework on the 2-hour chart. Now, the 2-hour chart is still by that center line. So as of right now, you kind of see some weird things going on here. You actually have a new low technically with the wick there. You have not made a new high. So IWM is in a very, very choppy spot, which is very interesting, because originally we used it to help us the last time people were really saying stock market crash. We used it and said that's not very likely to happen according to IWM, the Russell 2000 futures. And we were correct to point that out as we took out those levels. We have never broken this low, but as this is curled down, you have to treat it like you can continue to break those lows. You just broke this one. So if you're able to roll before making a new high, you would come test those levels. Get your weekly expected moves over on Patreon for IWM. The monthly expected moves are right here. You can get them in yesterday's video, and we talked about them a little bit. So if the 2-hour chart, though, is if that's able to confirm up into positive territory, it would say test the high, go make a new one, because you are just right by the center line. I know it's a little bit negative, but you're right in the choppy area. The risky thing here is the 30-minute spending some time here. I think that the 30-minute will need to carve out some kind of higher low like this, and we see like a left head, right shoulder. I think the 30-minute will need to make some sort of divergence, like right in this area where we kind of bounce up to test those sellers, and then we roll to create that divergence. These are the two ways to see if that 2 hour is going to turn around. Because if you break this low, yes, you're going to come down to those critical levels, and everyone will be calling stock market crash, but you'll be potentially to a 95% line or outside of your 68% zone where you can bounce. And then the next roll is where you can start to head to a weekly expected move. So I wanted to put that out there. Volatility. Let's talk about volatility on the 2-hour chart. Volatility on the 2-hour chart, right? The daily chart crossed down. So we should be looking for some kind of squeeze. Now, what's the risky thing? If the daily turns back up, I am not risking any money to the upside. There's no way I'm risking money to the upside if volatility is curled up on the daily in positive territory with some sort of weekly divergence here, just on the MACD, not on the RSI. If you want more info on that, you can look at yesterday's video. But the daily scale has turned down, so we're looking for some kind of squeeze, but we notice that this is positive. So anytime this turns up, it can be risky. It could turn up right now. It could turn up down in these areas. What you want to happen here if you're a bull is you want this to go negative enough, right? You want to see a nice squeeze here that the next time this curls up, you're looking for a higher low from the SPY. You're looking for a lower high from the VIX. So you want to see something like this where it really, really breaks down. And then you kind of come up to this area and you kind of, that's probably too extended there, actually. It probably needs to be quicker than that. It probably needs to be a little bit quicker, and then you kind of see this fail, right? But you want to be very risk averse if the daily is curling up anywhere near the center line for volatility. The 2-hour chart, what's that suggesting? Well, is the downside going to continue? As of right now, we haven't taken out the previous 2-hour high. We saw the 2 hour completely break down to those lower levels. That's a very good thing. It tells you watch out for a lower high. That's what it's saying. It's saying watch out for a lower high. But this volatility push is pretty good here. So it is kind of in that there's an argument for bears, there's an argument for bulls, and you're seeing a lot of people capitalize on that with click farming as of right now on social media. If the 2 hour chart curls down, though, what can we watch for? Right? If the 2 hour chart curls down, then the SPY is most likely heading up. Volatility is subsiding, and you're very likely to test this low, go make a new one because you're still relatively close to the center line. And this move told you to watch for the lower high. You did not exceed this one. But one thing you want to be critical of is if that would fail at any point. So even if this is able to curl down, it hasn't curled down yet. These are all things to react to. If that curls down, you see a higher low, right? We do something like this really quickly by the center line. We see a divergence really quickly by the center line. Those are two things that can tell you that the daily chart is highly probable to turn up. So I hope that that's very helpful to you. This is what I'd be really watching for risk. But as of right now, the 2 hour chart's curled up in positive territory. So bullish trades will have to take a portion to wait here for a second, unless you felt risky enough to take some kind of 30-minute confirmation at the end of the week in negative territory. Kind of a risky thing to do, but I totally understand if people like a little bit more risk and trade completely differently than me. I just hope that this information is helpful to everyone out there. I really hope that this information does help you out. Even if we disagree on which way this thing's going to break, even if we disagree, even in the short term, which way the 30 minutes is going to go, which way the Monday is going to end up, that doesn't matter, right? We're all in control of our own trading, and hopefully you just get some good data points then that can really help you out with some daily and weekly expected moves. Hey, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend with family. Go treat yourself, get reloaded for the week, and don't spend too much time looking at the same narrative over and over and over again on social media when the charts will tell you the very, very probable thing, and the charts will tell you any kind of confirmation of bearishness, any kind of confirmation of bullishness. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.